I'm live at the moment on YouTube. My name is Tyrone Farmer. I've said my name more than a few times throughout different videos. It's the first time I said it on this one. I'm making my way home. It's pretty hot outside. Really hoping you guys are staying cool yourself. But I didn't really call. Sorry, I didn't make this video about the heat or staying cool. I made it so I can do this message. See a little bit about myself. I'm 36 years old. I work really hard, as all people I believe should and will, but I'm hoping to relieve suffering. Spit out some gum. So my thing is, I've been working on mechanisms, designs. A little bit of help of AI helped me with that too. I won't even deny it because it just really helps the process a bit. But what I worked on with these ideas was ways to make human life just better. Not because you live over here or live over there. It's just because you're a human being. Because we're all a part of the whole. I felt like this would be a pretty smart mechanism. So one of the routes I went with was food. I thought that if nobody in the world starved, maybe that's a little less of a reason for us to fuss, fight, argue, tear each other down. So I had worked on different methods, and I've completed those methods by design. This message is to let the world know that what I've been doing. But I worked home, mom and pop, get in the dirt, grow some, grow enough food that can actually feed a populace of the planet. So I had to start thinking very differently to get there. I didn't understand the financial goals that it would take to put these things together until I started to figure it out. Once I did, I started to realize that the best way to go forward was doing the old school thing by understanding what your need is, which is water, soil, seeds, placement. And I've let this one up a little bit. After I figured that out, I started going a bit deeper into type of technologies that a little bit abnormal. So I started to try to understand height. I started to try to understand atomic structures and such. So in the process of learning those atomic structures, I started to end up putting together synthesizers for grow farms. So my grow farms went from just me learning how to grow food, like when I watched my grandma grow, food in her garden, versus me learning how to put together the synthesizer processes to grow food. After I got there, I started to realize that hey, I'm actually doing this, and it feels really so good just to see that the designs that I was putting together could be so essential as to help the planet. Because I had told myself that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all something about me that I don't really think about, so you understand. And I can do this now. So when I was younger, my mother, she ended up going to jail. And when she went to jail, me and my brothers, we were just little boys. And I didn't know what a 24-hour day was, let alone a week. But apparently my mother had been locked up for a while. And me and my brothers naturally didn't know this. Now, lucky that, whatever it is out there, God, if you want to call it God, is protecting us. So every day I got up, I went to school. I didn't know about washing clothes and whatnot, so I didn't know to wash my clothes. I just put them on as they were. I would make it there. I would eat my little breakfast, and at home there was no food, no real food to cook because I didn't know how to cook. I do remember eating crunch. I remember that this was all the nourishment I had. I apologize for how I said. I don't really talk about this very much. But I remember thinking that this is just how it is. Eventually, my grandmother, after so long, I don't remember how long, but it was not a day, it was not a week. I think it was a few weeks, except the weekend. Saying how the boy, my grandmother, she stayed in church. Church is the foundation for me. So if you hear me talk about God, it's because I was raised in a foundation. But the point is that in that foundation of learning God, my grandma, she had a garden. And she'd tell her grandbabies, y'all don't go mess with my garden. And we knew better, right? We knew better than to mess with your grandma's garden. But I remember seeing her grow that food. And ignorant to the world, because being a child, I didn't know that, like, man, this is how you grow food. I have a muscle memory for being able to see things. And if I can see it done, I can replicate or mimic it. Maybe even better so than most. And I have a really usually decent muscle memory, especially when I care about it. So as I grow my own food today and I design my mechanisms, I remember that feeling of having no food. I remember the feeling of seeing my grandmother digging the dirt with the hoe and putting the roots down, digging up what didn't need to be there. I took that feeling with me everywhere I go. It's not like I want to. It's just how do you let go of these emotions that you grew up with? But they grew into me. They grew into the man I am today. Just they come. And what I mean by that is that I see so much darkness in this life that I just want to see light. So if I can create a smile, that is the light. If I can create joy, that is the light. And that's what I'm working on now. Served overseas for a bit because I begged them send me over, and I do a great job. No matter where you put me, I do a great job. Is what I told them, and I did. I did the best job I could. Came home a little bit later. I went to college for medical assistant. I spent so much time learning how to fight, do things that I had realized that I became eminently good at fighting, eminently good at those type of natures. That I wanted to do something better. I wanted to be able to save lives. I want to be able to help life, you know. So now my company, what I'm doing is I'm working to be a person who can actually feed people. But I didn't stop there because I realized, like, hey man, feeding people is a beautiful thing. Because anybody who's ever woke up in the morning, you feel that feeling like, man, that probably that hunger started to punch you. And what happens after that hunger starts to punch you? You start to feel it in your head. That's your body telling you, like, hey man, eat, or hey girl, eat. So I started to realize that, hey, I want to be able to be essential by help guarantee they can be fed. And before I can even get my growth farms up, currently, every time I got extra food, if I see somebody in need, I give it to them. Because, like, you know, it's a good feeling to see a man or a woman know that a potential that stress is walked away for a little bit. It's even better to see that you was a part of that process, you know. So now my company is named Soliver. Now I'll tell you the truth, Soliver is still growing. I started this some time ago. It hasn't been a solid year this time around. But Soliver, the intention of Soliver is to help those in need while creating structures that will really help the whole. Again, I'm a Army veteran, college graduate. I'm a person via my environment, and I ask questions, even the hard questions. Now, a little bit about my intelligence, so you'll know, like, yes, I am a college graduate, and I'm a medical assistant. But I studied it up. After I studied up, I never got rid of my books, you know, because I'm like, you know what? Why get rid of the books that are helping me study, you know? And I haven't stopped. And God willing, as long as I'm living, I won't. But I'll tell you a bit about a design I worked on. So, yes, I worked on a synthesizer design well before the synthesizer, so I want to stay aligned. Then I just worked on gardening, but I turned those into what you call grow farms. Uh, Basically, you know, big enough mechanisms where each section can grow an assortment of vegetation And outside of the growing, the process is to process the food, clean it, and storage it outside of what's being handed out. That is just the intentions for the regular grow farm. The next design that I worked toward as well, Jesus, what's going on? The next design I worked on was the synthesizer design, and the last design I really worked on was the replicator. I looked at math first, ladies and gentlemen. I was watching a show, and it once said, everything in life, even us, is an equation. And I thought that was like interesting because I'm like, I'm a person. I feel my flesh and blood. I feel my heart. But same token, I broke down the situation and started to look at that. Mathematically, everything is concise. Everything has a range, and there's a number for each range. And even human beings in the flesh that we inhabit, there's a range. I don't want to lose you. I'm trying to tell you that looking at life as a mathematical equation and looking at material science as math as well, I started to learn that they were actually one and the same, that math and life actually do walk a hand of side to side. And I started to learn how to compare that. That took some time. Once I got there, I started to realize that the best thing I could do was to put this into a device, into a mechanism that not only my family, but other families could use. So I had to design this replicator design, and I had looked at it. I'm like, you know what am I missing? Because I kept on hitting some snags, and I was like, what am I not doing? Am I not doing everything right? And I started to realize that the best thing I could do was to learn atomic, to look at atomic structures and learn how to materialize those atomic structures with a proper design. All of this has taken its own time, but yet, if I say I care, then how dare I start on something and not follow through? So I worked tirelessly until I got to a point where my design, clear as day, could be seen, could be understood, could be registered, could be built. And then I stress tested my work, as usual. If I remember correctly, if you want to know, ladies and gentlemen, you can look up on Wattpad. No, sorry, that's another reading. You can look on Archive. Jesus, I'm sorry, guys, I'm driving. You can look on archive.org, but that's archive.org, and look up the name Tyrone Farmer. That's spelled Tyrone, last name Farmer, Farmer. I had realized that if I wanted my work to be a bit more taken serious, what should I do? How can I put it out here without giving away trade secrets, protecting my trace, my name? So I wrote my papers. After I wrote each paper, y'all need to be careful. After I wrote my paper, I realized that the next thing to write these papers is to publish them. So I published them on these sites called like Archive. Oh, you need to be careful, sir. You gonna get yourself hurt on that. Goodness. So I published on archive.org. Apologies. So I published my work on archive.org. And again, right now I have 58 works published on archive.org. But these publishings are not just publishings. These publishings are specific to my designs. The reason why is because it's kind of crazy, but anybody watching this, people will steal. And I don't like the idea of being stolen from. So I wrote my papers to my technologies and I published them on the website archive.org. And I went on and made sure that my work was naturally already printed out and I notarized. Now, yes, I published my papers and I notarized to my technology designs. And like my farmer replicator, which is for replication, my synthesizer for food, my grow farm, which is for food. These three designs are meant to help human beings to be fed. But then I thought, okay, these grow farms are good. They're perfect in their design. What is lacking? So I was like, energy, power. So I had to look at how can I have these grow farms ready to go forth without natural sun power or some type of power system. So I looked at that. So I designed mechanisms for power, for energy, to be able to make sure that these grow farms could actually do the job that they're meant to do and help people. Goodness. So I never stopped on my work. You're gonna get over already. What I'm trying to tell people is that right now uh, I have closer to 700, closer to 1,000 different technological designs, all grounded with math, science. But I want to tell you folks a deeper, clearer understanding. Anything I design, I look at, is it safe for people? Second, is it environmentally safe? Third, is it economically sound? When I look at these three routes, I think, okay, I'm designing to make sure that people can be fed. And I think to myself, once the food comes from the grow farms, can it automatically be eaten? Okay, if I and my family can eat this, why can't other families? So I thought about that. So I always look at myself as well. I put myself in that mix, not just as some designer, but as a person who wants to make sure my family is okay as well. And I think to myself, if it's good for my family, why wouldn't it be good for your family? If I would give it to the people I love and I care about, why can't you give it to the people you care about? So that's my thinking cap on how I design uh, everything. And one of my first designs, really, I came up with was like this. I can't say that. Sorry, I can't tell you guys that. I'll just say that what I designed is a mechanism that can basically help power homes. Not really a super big size, but it doesn't need to be big. No, people often mistake that when you design something, it has to be big to do big work. And I realized now you can have something that is structurally powerful, with good integrity, but it does not have to be big. It can be pretty micro, actually. It can fit in your pocket, but you just got to have the math and the material science and the mitigating factors there. And that's what I do. I make sure that I look at all these different haptics. And I'm trying to see, I want to show you guys something because I'm going to show you when I get home too. I really just designed something last night and I had realized that I never even printed it out to put it up, but I haven't vaulted it yet either. Now, what I mean vaulting, every time I get done designing any mechanism, I think to myself, okay, does it fit? Does it fit the type of technology designs that I work on? Will it help people? Will it hurt or keep the environment safe? If the environment is safe by its design, then yeah, we go forward. All right, can we source this material? That's what I meant. Is it economically sound? Now that we can source these materials, excuse me, the next phase is to go forward. And before I even put it out to the public, I make sure that it's already printed out, it's notarized. And why do we lock this in? Simple. You have to realize that people want to steal your work or anybody's work, especially if they think it's going to make some money. Tell you guys the truth. Every time I design anything, it's really not about the money. I mean, money is cool when we make it, but it's not about